And like, even if it's just like 1 or 2 times that he's guest played with them, like when we see them walking out to their practices, they'll be like, oh, hey, Carson. So nice that they remember the players. The fact that like coaches are so willing to allow their players to guest play. That's how Carson got pulled up to Team 1 so quickly.
Thank you both for being here today. Really appreciate it. What is your first name and how many players do you have in the club?
My name is Gabe Grimaldi. We have 2 boys, 2016 and 2018.
Awesome. And your name?
I'm Courtney.
How many years has your family been a part of Sporting Blue Valley?
We have been a part of the club for 4 years. We had Carson in Futures, and then he joined the Premier program with the U8s, and then has been part of the U9, U10, and now we have Crosby in U8.
Awesome. Great. And have you enjoyed your time here in the club?
Yeah, it's been a positive experience all around. It's been even better than we expected.
Have either of you ever administrated a team?
I was an administrator for 1 year. I'd like to do it again. I didn't get the opportunity again this year because other parents stepped up, but given the opportunity again, I would stand in and do it in a second. I like being involved in the club in any way I can. I've taken photos before, still do it at both my boys' games, volunteered during tryouts. And I mean, we come to the camps. I mean, we do.
Yeah, extremely involved.
Yeah, anything that the club offers, I mean, we're here for.
Yeah, and we were so appreciative of that. Like when you took those State Cup photos, it was incredible and great feedback.
And so fun. I mean, to see the older boys play. I mean, it was just Carson went with me, and I looked at Carson and looked at the older boys and thought, man, this is going to be a blink of an eye before he is here, hopefully, and it was fun to take him, and he loved going and watching the older boys and cheering them on. And I loved being there and seeing the parents and the players and being part of it. So it was a lot of fun.
Outside of, or internally, I guess, just on the teams that you've been on, because you've been on multiple teams when you've been here, multiple coaches, multiple admins, multiple team members. Have you felt kind of a sense of community being on those teams? Have you gotten to be friends with any of the parents, or do you feel like it's kind of isolated?
It's been an incredible experience. We've met met friends that we hang out with all the time. It's become more of a community of people because you spend a lot of time together. Right. It's a commitment. Yeah, our boys have made great friends, and so have we.
That's really good. Okay. What's some advice that you'd give to somebody who is maybe considering joining Premier and might be a little bit hesitant about it because it is more commitment than the rec program? Is there anything that you'd have for them, that you've picked up on just by being a part of it that you wouldn't have known before?
Yeah, I think the initial fear of joining a Premier program is that it's going to be a lot on parents and on players. And when people have asked us about it, we've always said it will be an initial time commitment. It is more than a rec program, but we've never met a coach who isn't willing to work with us when we have overlapping sports conflicts. And the parents have been great. The value and the commitment that we've gotten and we've seen out of our boys has been well worth the investment and the time. And the programs that Sporting Blue Valley has have been just phenomenal. And I think the investment back to our boys and to us as a family has been worth the jump to the program.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the commitment's more, but the club does a great job of working with your schedule. There are days when we can't make our regularly scheduled training session, and we're able to attend another one to make sure that they do get their training in for the week, as well as if you can't make a game, communicate. Guest players and make sure you fill out your roster. So it's flexible. So, the commitment's there, but it's definitely doable.
Yeah. And, we've texted a coach and said, hey, we can't make training tonight. Carson's sick. And we've never had a coach who's been like, well, this is going to be a problem. I mean, their response is always health comes first, And so I think people initially are scared of some situations like that. But our coaches have always said the health and the safety of our players is always first, and we feel that for sure.
That's really good. Now, you mentioned going to different practices. In addition to just kind of being flexible with you, with the different coaches that you've had through the years, do you feel like each coach gave because you have a U10 son, do you feel like he gave your 2016 opportunity to showcase to higher team coaches just outside of being flexible, saying, hey, this kid's been performing pretty well? Do you feel like that pathway was there for you?
Yeah, the pathway is amazing. The coaches at all levels communicate with each other. They want, first and foremost, they want to do what's best for the kid. They want to put your son or daughter on the right path, put them at the level or they're on the right program to fit their skill level and ability and their age and with their age group too. But yes, they've done a great job of communicating and giving our kids opportunity when there is to move up or to enhance their game at all levels. So kudos to the club for the communication between the coaches and making sure that they do what's in the best interest of the player.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I was thinking about the coaches that we've had experience with, and I was trying to list them, and we've had Andres, we've had experience with Gabe, we've had experience with Mark, Ivan, Etta, Sam. I was thinking there was like at least 7 or 8 coaches. Yeah. Oh, Chris, he's on the girls' side.
Right.
And we've had experience with him. Mm-hmm. And all of them know our boys' names, know like what skills they have, what kind of players they are, and just who they are as people and what kind of players they are. And that to me tells me that the club is invested in players and that they want the players to grow from where they are. Oh, and then we've had Coach Liz.
Liz? Okay. Wow, you guys have had a lot of coaches.
Well, and all through the summer summer camps, the summer programs, they've had, I think we've had exposure to, more than double digit, more than 10.
Trey, you've played coaches with Trey, but just the opportunity, he's had opportunities to guest play with all of those coaches. And even if it's just 1 or 2 times that he's guest played with them, when we see them walking out to their practices, they'll be like, oh, hey, Carson, and so it's just so nice that they remember the players from the other teams. And the fact that the coaches are so willing to allow their players to guest play and will ask the other coaches and communicate with them to have guest players. That's how I think Carson got pulled up to Team 1 so quickly, is because Ivan recognized his skill and his ability, and Mark was like, yeah, go play with him. And so he practiced with him all of the time. And we have had a lot of experience with coaches, and all of them are amazing and know just kind of what the players are capable of. And we have not had a bad coach here, is my point in all of that.
On the coaching side, that's wonderful. And I appreciate you, being so candid about it.
Yeah.
As far as the sideline culture and the parents that you've come into contact with on each of your teams, and even when you're playing other Sporting Blue Valley teams, because I'm sure that you have played other teams, what is that like when you're on the sideline around other parents? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel welcome? Do you feel like you can talk to the other parents on the team?
Yeah, the sideline culture is, like I said, you become very close with the parents, even the other parents on the other teams, because we play on other teams. So it's a very tight-knit community. It's very comfortable. We focus on encouragement during the game rather than, screaming or trying to coach. We want the coach to do their job, coach. We want the boys to focus and focus on them and what they say first and foremost. So, positive encouragement, cheering, being happy for each other's kids. It's easy and very comfortable.
I'll go back again to the culture here at Sporting. Because of the way the practices are set up and you're practicing with all of the teams together and the coaches talk and the players get to play all together, even though we are all Team 1 and Team 2 and Team 3, we get to know the parents on all of the other teams. And so Carson was on Team 3 last year, but is on Team 1 this year, but we guest played a lot with Team 2 and we guest played a lot with Team 3. So we get to know the parents really well. And they were all very welcoming of him as a guest player and of us as guest parents on that team. And it was never a competitive, is this kid coming to take my kid's spot? It was always, we're so glad to have him. We're so glad he's here. And so we got to know those parents really well. So when he moved up to that team, it was like we were always a part of that team. And we had always known those parents because we would see them at practice. We were always on the same field together at practices. We had played with them a lot. And I think the club does a really good job of setting that culture from the beginning by putting the practices together, always having the parents together in that situation. The coaches do a good job by allowing players to switch around and guest play for each other. And so we're just always together in those situations to like see each other all the time and be together all the time.
And having the teams kind of play together and having our boys and any player exposed to the other teams, it makes them more comfortable and helps their confidence. So when they actually get in that position, they don't feel like they're, they don't belong, or, they're like, I can play here, and they already know the boys. So the transition is very easy between teams. So it's really nice in their development.
That's great to hear. Outside of normal practices, outside of normal just league play with Sporting Blue Valley, have you done any additional training? Are there any other places that you recommend to a Sporting Blue Valley parent who's like, this is awesome, this is great, but we've maxed out at Sporting Blue Valley, we need some more? Maybe a TFFA with Coach Gazi or anything like that you guys have done?
Yeah, we've done multiple things outside of Sporting Blue Valley. Although there are many programs here you can take advantage of. We've done with Coach Ngazi. We have trained or went to the Hugh Williams summer camp, which was great. Always loved it. We've done all in.
We've done the all in here.
Oh yeah.
We do the summer camps here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But saying that, you asked the question about parents who are, teetering the line between jumping in. Both of our boys play for the academy teams, so they want to do a lot, and playing for the academy team, they're invested in a lot. So they do a lot of outside training from their normal trainings. Yep. So it is all voluntary. Somebody who wants to come in, this is all optional. It's not like you have to do this to play for Sporting. The Sporting Blue Valley has a spot for everybody. You can do all of this, or you can just come to practices and be fine.
And I'll give kudos to the club and the coaches. They encourage us to participate in other things outside the club because it helps with our player development, and they see that. So, and they encourage our kids to play other sports. Yeah. Because they know the importance of, at this age, how their body develops, physically and mentally. So it's once you get here, it's not, you're here and this is the only thing you can do. It's encouraged to do other things. So the commitment's there, but there's also the flexibility to take advantage of other opportunities.
Right. So part of that, other sports, you mentioned that made me think, you've had experience with both indoor soccer and futsal. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Do you see the value in futsal? Do you like playing futsal? Do your boys like playing futsal? What's your opinion on that?
I love futsal season. Mm-hmm. Carson's first year, it was a struggle. I know that he didn't love it. He loves it much more now, sees the value of it. We love it for the pace of it, the fastness of it, the foot skills work of it. So I think it's a learn to love season, but our family really loves futsal season. So
yeah. Same. Yeah. I mean, futsal it's a different game, works, makes them play fast, makes them think fast. So when they get on, transition to outdoor, it translates and it helps their game immensely.
Yeah. You've noticed that.
100%. Yeah. So, they have to make quicker decisions, and on outdoor you have more time, a little bit more time to make that decision, but you're already making it quicker so you can make quicker plays.
Mm-hmm. What is a piece of advice that you have, and we touched on a few of these things already, but if there's any main piece of advice, you could only give one piece of just recommendation or education to somebody who's worried about either the travel, like we've talked about a little bit with your boys, or the time commitment in general of Premier Soccer, and just as a whole, what is one big piece of advice you give to somebody interested or looking?
Let me you go first.
Yeah, I would. What I would say, if somebody is thinking about coming to Premier Soccer, that you can make it what you want. What I was saying earlier, that it doesn't have to be what we were saying, that there's extra practices outside of this. If your player is just jumping out of rec, that it can be just the 2 practices a week, and it doesn't have to be travel right away. Like, most of the teams are not travel teams. I think a big fear is like, we're going to jump right into travel and it's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars in travel and all this stuff. And that's not what Sporting Blue Valley is about. Sporting Blue Valley is about the player first and what the player needs. And most of the teams are, if not all of them, are about developing the player and where the player needs to be. And that's what we've found out to be true here. We've found a great community, and we wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, I would say don't let the investment or the travel be the reason you make your decision, be part of your decision. It is commitment, but with that commitment, the club like I mentioned, does a really good job of making sure that your player is in the right program, and based on their skill and their ability, and to put them on the path to success. So, it's flexible, and I would trust the club to make the best decision for your player.
So there's a lot of club options in the Kansas City area, like a lot more than a handful. So why did you choose Sporting Blue Valley for your sons? Or did you even start here in the first place?
We've had experience with multiple clubs in the area. We were with Kansas Rush at one point. We've had experience with Toka, both great experiences. We made the decision to come to Sporting Blue Valley just based on the success of the club. Sporting Blue Valley has been providing the soccer experience for players for more than 40 years, and the prestige and around the organization and the programs helped solidify our decision to come here. Being part of club soccer, there's a different level of expectation, and with that comes discipline, work ethic, commitment, and as they progress through school, middle school, high school, competition will continue to get better. And all those traits, being coachable, having that commitment, having that, sportsmanship, they'll always have that competitive advantage that will help them throughout all the years that they're playing sports.